Good day, everyone. Welcome to ITS 306. This is Web Development 2. This is for sections A and B. My name is Julius, your instructor. Today, we're going to have another pre recorded class. This is in continuation to our discussion about web development. So be sure to watch the entire video, listen, and understand the lessons attentively. Right after the class, there will be a learning assessment and assignment that will be posted. So if you have any questions or clarifications regarding today's lesson, please go ahead and comment your questions down to our Facebook group post, or you can send in your question to our Facebook chat groups. Okay, so previously we've learned about designing a website's user interface. We begin with um, front end markup, that is using HTML, and then two parts of front end formatting using CSS. And then we've also added responsive design to our website. So just a recap. So this is going to be our process in building a website. First is the user. We're going to design the user interface, which we already did. And again, that was divided with different parts: the front end markup, the front end designing or formatting, and then adding responsiveness. So from this point and on, we will now work on adding functionalities to our website. So basically, adding interactions and um, interactivity to our website, basically. And that's going to be using the PHP and MySQL. Okay, so I guess everybody should know what is PHP and MySQL. So this topic has already been talked about from your previous courses from the past years. But anyway, just a review perhaps. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor, and it is a server scripting language and a powerful tool for making dynamic and interactive web pages. And how it works: PHP code is usually processed on a web server by a PHP interpreter. On a web server, the result of the interpreted and executed PHP code, which may be any type of data such as generated HTML or binary image data, would form the whole or part of an HTTPL or HTTP response. So maybe if you can remember from last year or last semester with our web development one, we learned that every time that there will be an HTTP request, or every time that we are going to access a certain web page, and if that page contains just about any programming languages, for example PHP, the web server will use the PHP interpreter to translate those PHP codes into HTML, and then the HTML will be sent back to the browser so that the users or us will be able to see it in our screen. Again, if you can remember, browsers cannot read PHP codes. So that's why web servers have to translate those PHP codes to HTML so that we'll be able to see it, so that the browser will be able to understand those codes. Okay, and then what better way to translate those using the PHP interpreter. Okay, and then MySQL is a free open source and a widely used relational database management system, or DBMS. So when we say relational database management system, basically these are the types of database that organizes data into one or more data tables. Okay, and these data types may be related to each other, and these relations help structure the data. Okay, so MySQL is one of those relational databases system or database management system, and that's what we're going to use for this course. So just so basically MySQL, its name is a combination of my, which is the daughter's name of the founder, Michael. I'm not really sure how to pronounce this, but I guess let me try. It's widely used. And then the SQL is the abbreviation for structured query language. That is the type of the database. So I've already talked to you about this. We'll be using PHP and MySQL in building our website. So for this course, we will use PHP as our scripting language, coupled with the MySQL as our database management system. Okay, so from this point and on, we have a new guide in building a website. So we are now going to focus more on the PHP and the MySQL side of the development, since we're already done with the front end before using CSS and HTML. And I'm expecting that everybody should be, at least if not expert, at least bansay na, kabalo ng buhat of websites using HTML and CSS. Now, so we've been doing that ever since, or from, kumbaga, from the previous semester, from our web development one, and we did that again b- as we begin with our web development 2. So I guess everybody is already knowledgeable in doing HTML and CSS. So from this course, from this point and on, we'll focus on the PHP and MySQL. So the first thing that we're going to do is to set up PHP and MySQL. Okay, and then we will learn how to create database, configure the database connection. So basically, we are going to connect the database that we've created to our website, and that we will be and make it work. That we will be able to create an interactive website. Okay, a website is capable of storing data and processing the data itself. And then we'll be working on sessions and signing in. Okay, that is still using PHP and MySQL. And then we will learn how to do a user control. That means we are going to set functionalities to different users. It may be administrator or public users. Okay, so we'll talk more about it, but just to give you an idea, for a functional website, there has to be an administrator and just about any other users. Okay, the administrator have the full control of managing the data, processing the data of the entire website, and the public, naray mga certain functionalities that the public users can basically access compared to the administrator, diba? And then after that, we'll be working with our CRUD system again. Okay, so regardless of how crucial, how broad the website or the system that you'll be creating in the near future, it will always start with the CRUD system. Diba? Any system, name any system, no matter how big it is, it will always start with a CRUD system. So let's say CRUD system is the mother of all the system. Any other system they're being developed and will be developed will always start with a CRUD system. So again, CRUD system stands for create, retrieve, update, and delete data. Okay, so that's it. So again, this is going to be our new guide in developing our website or developing website or system from this point for this course. Okay, so let's start setting up PHP. So to do so, hold on. Okay, all right. So this is for desktop PC users. First thing that you're going to do is to download and install XAMPP from www.apachefriends.org/download.html. Okay, so here, um, here. Okay, so again, go to apachefriends.org/download.html and then select the appropriate version. And then I would suggest to download. You can download any of this. So if you're using Windows, if you're using Linux, if you're using Mac OS, but again, you can download in any of these versions. But I would suggest to download the latest. Well, obviously that's going to be the 8.0.7, and then you don't have to worry about your device's compatibility because the website itself will automatically detect the or your devices or your computer specification and display the appropriate version for that. Okay, so again, download and install. And once you've already installed it, hold on. Okay, once you've already installed it, open the XM control panel and then start both the Apache and MySQL. Okay, so again, once you've already installed it, most of the time mo display na siya diri sa imong start, but just in case if delay, Hold on. Okay, right here, in my end, it's right here. I've already organized it. However, if in your case wala pa, then you just have to type in xampp control panel here. All right, so in my end, it's already been starting. So let me stop it all just for the sake of demonstration. So right now, the xampp control panel has stopped, and then again we are going to start it, and that we will be able to run the PHP and MySQL. So to do so, all you need to do is to start both the Apache and MySQL. Again, the Apache is for the web server, and then the MySQL is for the database. Okay, all right. So once the module background color of Apache MySQL turned green, that means it's already running, and you will another perhaps another way to know that if the MySQL and Apache is already running, if again first is it should turn green, the background color, and you will see bunch of numbers for the PIDs and the ports. Okay, so right now, as of this moment, the server is already working, has already started basically, and we should be able to access our website now. Okay, so next is, hold on. Okay. To access your site, type localhost and then slash and then your site name, or use the IP address 127.0.0.1. And then to create, import, or manage your database, type localhost slash phpmyadmin or 127.0.0.1 slash phpmyadmin. Okay, so this IP address, the 127.0.0.1, is basically the IP address for the localhost. Okay, so again, you can either use the term localhost or type in the IP address itself. All right. So, but before that, before you will be able to access your website, it's very important to make sure that you will save your website to the appropriate directory. Okay. So to do so, open up your Explorer and then select the drive where your XAMPP is installed. In my case, it's in drive D, and then go to XAMPP and then go to htdocs. All right. So again, go to the drive where your XAMPP is saved or installed. Select XAMPP and then htdocs. So this is the local host. This is where your website should be stored. In that way, you will be able to access it in the local host. Okay. So right now, my htdocs has lots of folders in it. That means it's got lots of websites stored in it, and we will try to access one of them. So let's try to access this particular website. It's called CRUD. So again, to access that, we just have to, okay, we'll just have to type in localhost or 127.0.0.1 and then slash and then the site name in my end, that's CRUD, and then enter here. Okay, so I was able to access it. That means it's properly working. Okay, so this is a website that we've created from last semester as a sample. So don't you worry about this. This is just for the sake of demonstration to see if our XAMPP is working properly. Okay, and then to access your database, again, enter localhost or the IP address 127.0.0.1 slash phpmyadmin. Okay, here. So we have here the list of database stored in phpmyadmin, and then clicking the database will give you the the dashboard or the controls on how are you going to manage it. Okay, so we'll talk more about it in our future lesson. All right, so that is getting started with PHP and MySQL using desktop. However, those who doesn't have any computers at home or personal personal computers or laptop computers, don't you worry. You're if you have mobile devices, you can still develop websites using it. So if you have an Android or iPhone, you will be able to develop websites by using these applications. All right. So first thing that you're going to do is to download and install a web server and a PHP editor. Again, this is to setting up PHP and MySQL using mobile devices. All right. So again, if you don't have any personal computer or laptop, you can still use your phone to develop websites. So there shouldn't be any problems now. There shouldn't be any reason not for you not to be able to develop websites, build websites on your own. Okay. So again, download and install a web server and a PHP editor. So if you're using Android phone, open up Play Store, search for a web server, make sure it's got this icon. Same with the PHP editor. Okay, so the a web server is a web server. It's composed of Apache and MySQL already built in. So basically, this is a two-in-one application. It's got um, server, web server, and MySQL. Diba? Mura po siya XAMPP. And then installing a PHP editor will allow you to this is a text editor for PHP or MySQL as well. Okay, so make sure to download and install this so that you'll be able to build websites using your phone. Okay, so once you've already installed this application, you can now start access or setting up the PHP and MySQL on your device. So first is to open it up and then set the document root Okay, set the document root. Okay, so what does it mean? Basically, you are going to set up the htdocs, kumbaga, sa XAMPP or the local host for your website. So just tap on the select and then locate your website's directory saved on your device. Okay, again, so before you perform this, make sure that you already created a folder or basically, yeah, a folder that will serve as your website. So in our case, katong atong katong imong website nga imong gibuhat before, you're going to save it to your computer or perhaps to your mobile device, let's say your phone, and then select it as the document root. Okay? For example, okay, let me just connect my device real quick. Okay. All right. So in my end, it's already installed. And again, to start, open up the application itself, a web server. All right. And again, we are going to select the directory of the website. Basically, we're going to locate the folder where our website is located or stored. Okay, so in my end, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be in the internal storage. Press OK, and then here, um, CRUD. Oops, back. Make sure to tap on the box, checkbox. Okay, that, and then select. All right. So once we've already set up or once we've already located the root or basically the folder, then we can now start the application. So just tap on connecting iService, select start. Okay, and then let's just wait until the advertisement ends. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so all right, the status displays running if the server has started. And then tap on the address to open up the website or simply copy the IP address displayed to your browser. So here, let's check if it's already running. Okay, in my end, it says here the status is running. That means the server has successfully um, started. All right, and then to access my website to check if to check this CRUD system, kani, all I need to do is I can either copy the address, the IP address, which is kana. I can just either copy that and paste it on my browser, or I can just simply click on it. Okay. All right. And let me just change the URL real quick because duwa man ikabuok. Let me make sure na it's index.php. PHP. All right. Okay. There are some errors with my end. Let me just fix this real quick. Allow me just one moment, please. All right. Okay. So we'll know that it's running. However, there is an error message saying that MySQL, a warning about MySQL connection. That is because we haven't started the MySQL yet. So all we need to do is once we've already started the web server, the next thing that we're going to do is to start the MySQL server as well. So it's good thing about this website or this application, both the web server and the MySQL server is already in one package. So it's already right here in this application. So all we need to do is to hold on. Okay, tap on the MySQL icon at the top of the screen, and then start tap the start button to run the server. Okay, so we'll do that. So right here, the MySQL is kaning na ay murag baso nasa ibabaw. Okay, just tap on that, and then there will be the MariaDB SQL server. So basically, this is the MySQL database server. So right now the status is currently on stopped, and then to start that, we'll just have to tap the start button. Okay, all right, and then once the MySQL has already started, the status should be running, and then we will have here the IP address, and then an admin IP address, and then the user and password. Okay, so what are these? So the status displays running once the server has started, just like this one. And then we will use the IP address for database connection, and then we will use the admin IP address to access MySQL admin page. So when we say IP address for database connection, so basically soon we'll discuss this soon once we're already working on the connection between our PHP as well to our MySQL. We'll be using we'll be using IP addresses or some sort of connection between them, and then we'll be using this IP address to do so. Okay, and then we will use this IP address if you want to access the if you want to access the katong Phpmyadmin. Okay, so let's try that. So we will open up the Phpmyadmin so that we can manage our website or our database. So all we need to do is tap on it. We can either just tap on it or copy this URL, copy it and yeah, copy it to the browser. It's going to perform the same thing, but let's just stop it, and then it should route us to the Phpmyadmin control panel. We will just have to type in the username and root. For this case, default would be username is going to be root, and then password will also be root. Root gihapon ang password. Okay, again, don't forget the username is root, password is root, and then press go. And this is where you're going to add your this is where you're going to manage your database. Okay, so you can either to create new database, so just tap on the database at the top, and then enter the database name. So for example, kana database putang natog one, and then tap on create. All right, and then you can this is where you can add the tables, columns, etc. Okay, and then to import a database, if na may database sa inyong nanamoy inyong database nga nagama and you decided to just use that database to use the database, then you can just import it. So to do so, tap on the kaning na arrow at the top, kani na siya, and then look for import kana na import, and then hold on. Sometimes it may take a little while for it to load depending on the phone's capability. Okay, here it is, and then select choose file, and then locate the database. So for example, kana the database file rather, and then press go. Okay, all right. So whenever you see this message saying import has been successfully finished, then that means we are able to import or successfully import the database or the SQL to our database basically. Okay, so that is how you're going to use or the PHP myadmin using your device, your mobile device rather. Okay, and then all right, so that's it. So again, we'll be using the IP address kanisiya for database connection. So this is very important for your assignment. Um, I am going to upload kaninga website. Ako ni upload it. Asaron. Hmm. Okay. Kaninga website. Ako ni upload, and I want you to download it and then to test it on your end to see if it works. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do, once you've already downloaded this, the first thing that you're going to do is to open up. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Once you've already downloaded it, I will upload this as an archive file. First thing that you're going to do is to extract, and then if you're using desktop, go to XAMPP, and then go to htdocs and save it right there. All right. The next is open up the con. Okay. All right. So right now for desktop, let me close everything else. Okay. For desktop computers, you don't have to worry about it. It's because these are the default credentials for phpmyadmin. So this is the atong local host gain na, or you can also replace this with the IP address 127.0.0.1. But you can just skip this, and then root, that is the username, and then no password, and then the database name. Okay, again, this is the server, or I'm sorry, the local host, the root rather, and then the username, the default username for phpmyadmin is root, and then no password, and then this is the name of the database. Okay, so that's it. That's going to be the next thing that you're going to do, and then go to db folder, okay, db na folder, and you'll find here the SQL file. All right, so what you're going to do with this is you're going to import this to your phpmyadmin. So to do so, open up your browser, okay, and then go to phpmyadmin localhost. Okay, and then select new. Okay, can you click new and then enter sample. Okay, again, make sure to enter sample as your database name. Ayaw kalimot, the database name should be sample, and then select create. So in my case, I've already done that. So na ako'y sample dere, and then once you've already created the database, go to import, and then select choose file, and then locate the database file. So again, it's in XAMPP, htdocs, and then CRUD, and then DB. All right. select that, and then click open, and then press go to import. Okay, so if you're a desktop user or XAMPP user, you don't have to worry about that. Once you've already imported the database, just open up localhost slash crud, then it should work. Okay, again, it should work. However, for mobile device, that is where we're going to use kani. We're going to have, okay, we're going to change some of the IP addresses. Hold on, nawala na po siya. Allow me just one moment. All right. So again, um for mobile device users, here's what we're going to do. Okay. So remember, na when we start our MySQL database server, mo-provide siya og IP address here. Kani, di ba? 0.0.0 dot 3306, di ba? So we'll be using this to we're going to use this as our root, or kumbaga katong atong local host kay na. So what we're going to do is go to the PHP editor. Kani. Tap this. This is our PHP editor. This will only work if you install the PHP editor that I asked you to do so a while ago. Kana. So this is be the text editor. And then select this folder. Kana. Tap that folder. And then look. Okay, go back. Para okay. So again, once you tap that, katong itap ni mga folder, and then go to CRUD. Okay, CRUD, and then select con, kaning con, kana. Select that. All right. And gaina, if you can remember, if we're going to compare the two, okay. So basically, this is the same thing. This is gonna be the same thing. The only thing that's different is that, kani. So kaning Notepad++, this is the XAMPP version. As you can see, we are using localhost here. All right. So what we're going to do with the katong para sa ato ang katong um, sa mobile device is instead of localhost, we are going to enter the IP address. Diba? So again, what is the IP address? 0.0.0.0 and then 3306. So it should be kani 0.0.0.0 colon 3306. Okay? So instead of localhost, mao na dapat ang atong ibutang, and then root, same thing. And then for the XAMPP, wala man siya password, but for katong sa mobile device na siya password. And the password is just root, same thing. So the username is root, the password is root, and then sample as the database. That's it. Again, the only things there are two things that you're going to change. The local host, instead of localhost, it should be this IP address, or depending on whatever IP address that will display on your end. And then the username is root, and then the password is root instead of blank. So XAMPP and sample. And once you're done, select this. Can you see? Yeah, can I save? And then press OK. Okay. All right. So now that it's started, now that it's already been both the server and the MySQL is already started, then let's check whether it's running. Let's go back to Kane, then let's open up the address. Let's see if it's working now. Let me just change it again. Let me add index.php because duwa ka buok nga akong index.html and index.php. All right. So wala na siya error message unlike what we have a while ago. That is because we've already started the MySQL, and we know that for sure that it's already working, or the MySQL is already connected because we have here some data na store. Okay, so that is gonna be for your assignment. And dili lang diha nag-end ang yung assignment na pa. Okay. So again, assignment: convert all your HTML pages to PHP files. Sa inyong website before, I asked you for your midterm requirement. I asked you to add more web pages, diba? Instead of HTML, just change all the file extension to PHP, and then make sure to change it on your links as well. Okay. So instead of HTML, it should be PHP file. So again, to do so, you just have to change the file extension from HTML to PHP, all your HTML files, and then make sure that on your navigation links, you also change it to PHP. All right. And then for desktop users, download and install XAMPP, run your website. For mobile device users, download and install a web server and a PHP editor. And then download my sample PHP website. Ito akong gi-download ron. Perform a test run for both PHP and MySQL. Alright, I haven't pasted the link yet. I'm going to send the link where you can download the sample website later on. Okay? And then submit the screenshots of your work only. Alright, so for number one, you just have to send or attach a screenshot that you've already changed the HTML files to PHP. For number two, you just have to um, attach a screenshot that you've already downloaded and installed the XAMPP, and then you were able to run your website without any errors. And then for number three, you have to download the website, or katong sample nga website that the link will be uploaded later on. Perform a test run for both XAMPP if you're a desktop user, and then for a web server and a server for a mobile device, katong follow the instructions that I've given you a while ago, and then attach a screenshot for the website of the website working for both the PHP file, katong usag katorang index, and then the MySQL file as well. The PHP, make sure it's already also work. I'm sorry, the MySQL is also working properly. Okay. Again, you will only send a screenshot of your work, and then the deadline is going to be June 25th, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. Okay. So our next lesson will involve perhaps s- creating database, and it will be uploaded perhaps next week, and stand by for that. So thank you so much for making this part of the video. Again, if you have any questions or clarifications regarding today's lesson, please go ahead and comment your question down or send it in through our Facebook chat group. So again, please keep yourself safe, and God bless us all.